Unicorns. You might have heard that term used before to describe the female FPV pilot. I guess it's because there's so few of us, but there are more and more all the time. We have a Women of FPV Discord with over 60 female pilots in it. We aren't able to connect in person. We usually have to just drive across states and go to bigger events to even see each other, but we're able to connect online. So I'm chatting with Jenny, Pretty with Packs, and you're gonna quickly notice her beautiful soul. Her compassion for the hobby and the pilots in it is so moving. I hope you enjoy our chat.
Hey everyone, my name is Jenny, also known as Pretty with Packs.
Jenny, I live in Maine, and I live in a rural area in Maine, so I fly some beaches, we have some mountainous areas, lakes, lots of trees, and I know you live in Chicago, so I want to know what it's like to fly in that sort of area.
It's beneficial because we kind of get a little bit of everything. So we have, the typical parks and the rural areas because I'm in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, but it's just an hour south, and then we're hitting abandoned buildings and different corporate parks and sky rises. And so we are happy to have it all.
That's one thing that I've really been missing are the bandos. I haven't really been able to find a bando here in Maine, so that's something on my bucket list for sure.
We just went to Detroit in July, and flying the bandos is so much fun and so difficult, but motivating in a way to get that close proximity down and just do better every time.
Well, if I'm ever in the Chicago area, you have to take me to a bando. So my friends right now are at the ages where they're all having kids, they're all taking photos of their babies, but meanwhile, my camera roll is filled with quad photos. So I'd love to see your quad.
All right, so this is my current quad I'm rocking. Her name is Beatrice, or B, or something a little bit worse when she's not being nice to me.
I love
Yeah, I guess we all have those moments with our quads, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
I am rocking a TBS Source 1 frame. I have a Diatone Mamba stack. Yeah, it's been good to me so far. Sometimes I have problems with my electronics, but she's been good. I'm rocking some Gemfan Wind Dancers. I like the Hurricanes too, but I'm type A, so I really like that these match my prints.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, and the color, you could see it from a mile away.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for that bando.
What'd you say?
Perfect for the bando flying.
That's right. Or tall grass if someone hasn't mowed yet. Oh my gosh, it's been really helpful there. Moving on to my motors, I have Zing 2207s. I finally upgraded from the Race Stars, so that's been nice to have that extra punch or pep in my step, if you will, especially punching out of different tricks and stuff.
Hey, you have a battery sponsor, don't you?
I do.
You're running your battery.
So 7-7. Rocking that here. Definitely check them out if you haven't. You will not have any issues with sag towards the end of your lipo life. And what I love about them is truly they do pack a punch. Anytime you're trying to get out of any sort of inversion or freestyle trick, it has helped me stay away from trees, helped me from hitting the ground.
What is one piece of gear that you don't have that you wish you did?
Okay, you're gonna laugh. I wish I had an extra set of goggles. And the reason why is when we are flying, often we have either kids approach us or young adults or teenagers, and they want to know what we're doing. And even though we have a screen and they can see from there, I just want to get them in the goggles and get them interested in what we're doing and actually being able to feel the adrenaline of flight. So I think that that would be really cool to have.
Agreed. I used to have a spare set that I would let people do that with, and I often would present at my school, and I did some summer camps, and we'd pass around the goggles, but I ended up selling them to a friend, but I sort of regret it for that reason. I've done this so much to where often they're like, get these off of me, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah, we have a crew member, F-Core, he flies crazy. Like his lines and the tricks he throws, so when you're in the goggles watching him, you could definitely feel it.
Speaking of other pilots, is there a pilot right now who inspires you?
From the very beginning, Thunder FPV out of Detroit has kind of always inspired me. I was lucky enough to meet him this summer, and I fangirled out a little bit, but don't tell him that. I swear every time I watch his footage, my mind is blown. The lines that he finds, the tricks that he throws in close proximity in all of the abandoned buildings in Detroit, he is just on point every pack, and I love watching his footage. And I hope that one day I can be as good as that.
I'm always jealous of your crew, I have to tell you, because I don't really have a crew where I am. It's really mostly me. Like, my husband flies with me, we do long range. He'll come and race once in a while.
I love flying with the crew because we push each other.
That's what I wish I had racing. I wish I had a few people within an hour that I could get together with and train with, because I don't push myself hard enough on my own, that's for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. But a few packs by yourself feel good as well, because it's also great stress relief. Yeah, I like flying with my husband. He goes by Matali FPV. But I always have someone to fly with, and he pushes me and I push him, and we get the language of FPV, and we just kind of feed off of each other.
Yeah, mine went to my last round race. He comes every so often. He doesn't race every time. I'm overly into it. But he came to the last race, and he was a spotter for me, it was really nice. I never have a spotter. And I wasn't sure how it would go having your husband spot you. Like, would we do okay? And he was great. And I wish he would continue to do that and come to all my races and spot me. You listening?
The rest of the world is, so he better get on it. I think Jansen was really happy when he got, I used to share his goggles, and then I got my own. But my makeup was all over his goggles.
I shouldn't let anyone wear my goggles, because there's just like makeup everywhere.
Yeah.
So true.
And the other thing I learned, I never wear fake eyelashes, but there was one time that we were going somewhere and then I wanted to fly real quick. Yeah, those don't work in goggles.
What is something you've learned that you wish you knew in the beginning?
I was kind of told this in the beginning, but I think it's worth reiterating. The haters are gonna hate, truly. Our community, for the most part, is genuine people who want nothing more than to support and help one another. But there are a few that want to tell you how you should be doing things, or that you're not good enough, or that you're only getting things because you look a certain way. And it's important to just ignore them and be true to yourself. Your character will shine regardless of what those people think. The Gem Fan 10,000 follower giveaway, I had associated it with charity events, and then they had to cancel it and redo it because of people buying likes. I had someone reach out to me, and I don't know why it stuck with me, but it was just, they were like, this is not the way to get likes by saying that you're doing this for charity. This is not the way to win the contest. And it bothered me because, like, my core is helping people. I truly care about people, and I see that that's what the FPV community is about and what I love about it. And for someone to just critique my character like that when they know nothing about me, it just stuck with me for some reason. While it would be nice to win the contest, it's not about that. Like, it was about doing something good. It's like the greater good.
I've dealt with it a lot too, but I've had someone message me while I was at sports class last year in Daytona, which was the multi-GP national championship. So I barely got in. You know, I hadn't really been flying that long, so I was really grateful just to be there. I had somebody message me basically saying I was flying horrible, I didn't deserve to be there. I was told not to feed the trolls, so ignore them. What are some of your upcoming plans in FPV?
We're going back to Detroit in about 3 weeks, so working on close proximity and being comfortable in abandoned buildings is on my list, and I'm just motivated to keep doing better and keep progressing and not crashing. Break less stuff, spend less money.
Spend less money, I like that one.
Where can we find you? Plug your social media pages.
Well, so obviously Instagram handle is Pretty with Packs FPV. I recently got back onto Facebook. I took a break from that, but I got a new sponsorship with D-Quad USA, so they asked me to do a Facebook page. So again, Pretty with Packs or Jenny Ledke is how you can find me there. I do not have a YouTube channel yet, although the crew keeps pushing me to get one, so maybe one day. Yeah.
I've been considering a Facebook page because I just use my personal Facebook page, and I wish I hadn't, but I'm not sure if it's too late. And I feel like my whole personal page has been taken over by drones.
That's my plan. I took a hiatus, and now I just got back on there and changed everything over to FPV.
So at this point, you have a few questions for me.
One of the questions I wanted to know was, is there something that you have tried in FPV that you will never do again?
You gotta try everything at least once. It's more of a mistake that I made that I hope I will never make again.
Okay.
So my husband and I were flying this new spot. It was a marsh, and I was really excited. We have a few other people coming, one of which was going to be flying too, and I wanted to get in the air quickly because the spot was just amazing. So I rushed and got my gear ready and got in the air, and didn't really take the time to scope out the area to really find the best spot to stand when I was flying. So I kind of lost where I was because I was doing some tricks and everything looked the same. There were kind of snaking waterways, so
I couldn't tell where I was anymore, and I fail-safed. We had to spend quite a long time looking for my quad. We did find it. There was a tiny piece of the propeller sticking out of the water and some sizzling happening underneath because it's salt water. So the majority of the parts were ruined. It kind of cursed the quad. It took me at least a year to get that quad up and running again. This was pre-Crossfire days, so hopefully that will help too, having Crossfire.
My mistake is I rush to get ready and don't always put my Immortal T on.
Oh yeah, I've done that once, yeah.
I've done it more than once, and I'm just so excited to fly. I can't say I won't make that mistake again, but I'm gonna try really hard. So the other question I had for you was, I wanna know if there is someone or something that continues to drive you in our community.
So staying motivated can be tough. When it comes to racing, I practice on my own. I have to set up my own courses, which is really time consuming. So that part of it, it's a little bit hard to stay motivated. But because there's so much variety in drones, you know, I can long range. My husband and I have been getting into long ranging, and he's kind of been chasing my drone around, and we've been flying like a mile and a half out. And working on flying farther and Cinna whooping. This winter we'll be racing our whoops hopefully again. So there's just so much that you can do with drones that you can never be bored, and there's just not enough hours in the day. So the variety and also just the relationships I've built doing this. I know I said I fly alone a lot, but when I race with multiple chapters. I race in Maine, I race in New Hampshire, and I've developed a lot of great friendships. These guys are hilarious. We change our they change each other's names in the system. I'm Make Slow Reactra, so anyone who has an O in their name now has Slow. It's really nice to meet new people and to develop these friendships, both in person but also online.
That's something that I was kind of pleasantly surprised by, is how kind people can be, both in person and online. The first real experience I had with the FPV community, I went to the protest in Washington, D.C. And I had only been flying for like 2 or 3 weeks at that point. But I met up with Little Stellar, Jamie, and it was like I had known all of them forever.
It's funny, I did something similar after my husband and I got married. You know, I was joking about it in the beginning, but it wasn't really a joke in my head. I was like, we should go to IO for part of our honeymoon. And he's like, what? He just thought I was joking. But then I kind of kept bringing it up, and I bought our tickets. And because we were doing a road trip anyway, so we went through like Philly, we went through DC, we were in Virginia, and then we went over to Indiana for IO. But when we got there, you know, we had only been flying mini quads a few months, so we were really fresh, and with all these really professional pilots who've been flying for years. But it was a blast. However, many people thought he dragged me there on our honeymoon, but we had to correct them and tell them that I was the one who planned that.
It says love like IO.
Right? And then we went last year, and someone proposed to his girlfriend at the time there, so aww. I guess that's true. Pretty soon people are going to be conceiving at IO.
Oh, dang.
It's probably already happened. It was so awesome because you don't get to meet the female pilots too much. So I met Jamie, I got to hang out with Lexi, Susan Smith, Junebug, who's Tang Ma, was there. I know I'm missing people. Aaron Paul was there. So many. It was really great. Yeah. And I think if it had happened this year, there would probably have been even more
Every time I see a new female pilot, I'm like, yes, another one.
Have you tried the HD setup? I would love one of those.
I haven't. We have a few crew members looking at it. When we went out to Detroit, a few guys had it out there, but I didn't actually get in the goggles. I'm interested. I was talking to Jamie, and she was talking about just how incredible the contrast between things was and how well you could see compared to the typical goggle setup. So that's what intrigued me.
I do so much cinewhooping and with water and trees, and there's so much reflection and branches that I crashed my cinewhoop last week into the water.
Oh, shit.
I have a great video that I need to edit maybe, because you know, I'm flying, everything's fine. I went a little further than I ever have, and suddenly I didn't see the ducks under me. They blended right in with the water, and they were startled by the drone, and they took off, which looked really cool in the video. But then it startled me, and then I was like, oh, branch, and I kind of went under the branch, but immediately behind that was a limb. And I face planted, and I was stuck there. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm just stuck here, you know, like keep running my throttle and hope it, I was like, someone run and go save it, but I'm alone. So I just let it drop into the water.
Yeah. That's why I would love to have the new setup, because I feel like branches just come out of nowhere. And no matter what FPV cam I have, they get me every time.
Do you whoop at all?
Just for fun around the yard, and we have the crew come over and we'll do like a barbecue and try and set up gates, and it's fun though. And our animals love the whoops. 3 weeks ago, we were night flying, and I had a fox go after my 5-inch.
Whoa, that's a brave fox.
Yeah, I truly think he thought I was a bird, so then I landed by him. And of course, GoPro was on and running, but he was behind me. And so then I tried to turn, and he kind of scattered.
Yeah, we had, I think it was a possum in our yard, and I got the whoop out and tried to like get close to it. A hawk kind of took down one of our drones once.
There's been so many times where we've been like, quick, get the drone.
Like, we've had bats at our house lately, so it's like, let's put the whoop up and see if we can fly with them.
Did you see any bats in those caves?
No, not a single bat.
Huh.
No, I didn't really see any critters. Yeah, it was a good thing. I probably would have freaked out.
Did you guys tour them before you did the race?
We walked the mines later at night after some drinking happened. But we were with the people who bought them, so like they know them like the back of their hand, so they took us around and, you know, showed us all the different paths, and we went through the different tunnels, and it was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had this fluorescent lamp they would put over the rocks, and it would show different colors based upon what the rock contained. It was a bunch of mica in that mine, and actually some uranium too, so they were kind of warning us, you know, wash your hands before you eat and that sort of thing. One of my fellow pilot friends, after, you know, drinking and it being 3 a.m., deciding he wanted to take a bath in the mine water.
Oh, I saw that on your story. No, you sent it to me in a message.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
We totally expected him to glow the next day and put up some really crazy race times.